This is what we've been waiting for. Ting against Edward Folayang is brought to you by GoDaddy. It's the fight that the Philippines has been waiting for a good few years now. Folayang with the belt around his waist puts it on the line against Ting. Ting in the black trunks, Folayang in the red. Flying knee from the Malaysian, but Folayang brings him down.
Folayang with the takedown on Ting, and the shocks continue from Team Lakai.
Right hand from Folayang. Something reminiscent about the way he finished the hokey there for a moment, but Ting got through it and he's back on his feet. Or left hand followed up by a right. Didn't land solidly.
Good head movement by Ting to stay just out of range of that. Slipped right down the midline.
Good punches from Ting. And you'll notice that Ting never backs off, but he gets sent backwards from that right hand. Spinning back kick, which is Folayang's signature move. He likes the spinning back fist too.
This crowd is anticipating fireworks here tonight in the packed Moa Arena. Folayang looks relaxed and composed.
Listen to this crowd mix. They are right behind their man, and that is what Ting is up against, not just his opponent.
Ting needs to settle down, relax, get his composure back. Kind of adjust to an onslaught thrown early by Folayang.
He'll always stay right there, Ting, won't he?
Yeah, he just stays in the pocket, though, but you can't stay in the pocket with Folayang, because once he starts spinning, that's just going to be his kind of his signature to how relaxed he gets. But good head movement by Ting. He's been able to avoid some punches and also avoid some of these big kicks.
Has he got the speed, the Malaysian, to deal with Folayang? He's got the power.
Folayang Ting used to fight at featherweight, so he's used to dealing with smaller, faster opponents, so I don't think the speed is going to be there. But the explosiveness of Folayang is something that's going to be tough to deal with.
You'll see this pattern probably throughout the fight. Ting in the center of the cage, Folayang circling around it, taking the outside perimeter there.
Ting stands a bit flat-footed in his stance, and you can see that Folayang is always light on his toes, consistently moving around.
Yeah, always on the ball of his feet, isn't he? Looking to unleash that kick.
See, now Folayang's starting to spin. And that's how you can tell.
He caught that kick and then sent in a huge right hand that did not connect. He put everything into that.
Ting's got to start mixing this up. He does not want to stand there in front of Folayang and let him start unloading some of these shots. He's got to mix in the takedowns, threaten the submissions, give Folayang something else to think about.
Both men with very, very strong legs. Think of the power and the kicks they can unleash.
Tornado kick coming from the Malaysian.
A little bit over elaborate, maybe.
Both these guys know that this is their shot at history in the making. So they're trying to put on their best show possible. All the video game moves are going to be coming out tonight.
History is right here. 20,000 fans in the Mall of Asia Arena. Manny Pacquiao in attendance. Celebrities and champions everywhere you look. Ting always wide-eyed, looking intensely into the eyes of his opponent. There's that spinning back fist that did not connect, but he's looking for it, and he'll look again, you can be sure of that.
That's what I like to see from Ting. When Folayang spins, close the distance, get tight on him, and drag this fight to the ground. Make him think about different level changes, mix things up a bit, keep him guessing. Ting's got so many different weapons.
Kick to the midriff, just dropped Ting for a moment, but he sprung back up like a jack in a box.
1 minute left in the first round. 1 minute.
Ting will stand there, he'll shuffle forward. There's no retreat in this man. He takes a kick to the belly, though.
They'll look to catch him kind of on the elbows. Deflected just slightly there. But this is Folayang's fight. This is what he likes to do. He likes to stand there and pick his opponents apart at that kicking range.
Folayang's body already glistening with sweat, which means it'll be difficult to get any purchase on him should Ting trying to grapple with him, but you fancy much of this fight is going to be, as we see it, standing up, toe-to-toe, kicking and punching. And Folayang unleashes a wild right hand that, again, doesn't quite connect. Big right hand from Ting, and he missed with the left too. But these two are prepared to fire bombs. That was 5 minutes where the edge of your seat took a fair bit of weight.
Let's take a look at some of that past action of that round. We saw exactly what a lot of people thought. A mixed bag of striking skills shown by both these fighters. F-Ting got a little bit overzealous, went for a flying knee. Fully able to spin him around and take him down. And there's some of those spinning attacks Folayang is known for. When he starts to spin around like that helicopter, you know some creativity is on the way. Rich Franklin, break that down.
Well, although I have Edwards scored on the takedown at the beginning of the round, most of the scoring in this round has been in the striking superiority category. But it's razor close. You know, Edwards exploding using his footwork, coming back and forth. Ev's doing a good job of covering up, so he's not taking a lot of damage. But when those combos, when they get dirty on the inside, the occasional punch here and there, kick is landing from Folayang. So I have him just slightly ahead on the scorecards.
We said that the experts were really split in this one in terms of who wins, but a lot of people think that it could go the distance. So we'll come back to Rich Franklin at the end of every round and get his assessment of who's ahead. Fights scored in their entirety, not round by round here at One Championship. One round in the books. This five-minute round. So 25 minutes of action if they go the distance.
There he is. Good single leg. Snatches the leg up lightning fast, but good defense from Folayang.
That's what they've got good at in the last few months, right?
Folayang doesn't really use the offensive wrestling like Benario does, but he uses his wrestling skills, his newly acquired wrestling skills, to stop takedowns and make his opponents punish for it.
Just for a moment there, Folayang going for the single leg himself.
It made me almost look bad there. It almost made me eat my words a little bit.
Spinning each other around, so they do. So they share time with their back against the cage. At the moment, it's Ting pressing Folayang, sending in a knee to the thigh, takes one back. Left hand from Ting. There's been some big punches thrown, but not much in terms of connection. But there's a good example for you.
That was beautiful. Slid under the spinning back fist. Attempted a double leg, but Folayang did exactly it. His puzzle is getting harder and harder to solve. It's so difficult to take him down. The legend Naoki had a hard time with it. Couldn't hold him down. He was able to pop right back up. F-Ting spent a lot of time out there in Bali working with the Leone brothers, but he also spends a lot of time at his home club, Auckland MMA in New Zealand. So he gets a lot of different partners to help prepare him for this world title fight.
That fight against Aoki was a big night for Folayang, but this must be the biggest night of his life, defending the title in front of his home fans. This is what he must have dreamt about his entire career. It's happening right now for him. He's got to seize the moment.
Good combination for Folayang to go high with the high kick and then right down to low to go after the leg.
Folayang just got his left arm up in time to check that kick and comes back with a spinner of his own, but these big punches and big kicks not connecting yet.
Man, if one of them does,
it's a matter of time, isn't it?
Wow, these guys are throwing some serious heat with their legs.
He really loaded up on that one, but Ting got his left arm up just in time and moved his head backwards and out of the way.
Keeping that guard high is going to be so important in this fight because these kicks are coming with some serious speed.
Good
nice
jab
right hand.
Yeah, he got caught though.
He got connected on the jab like you said, but got caught with a right hand by Ting. Trying to catch that kick again, but Ting did the right thing by ducking out of the way.
Well, they're starting to land now, aren't they?
They're both getting so comfortable and relaxed in there.
Ting slips, I think. Now, listen to the crowd as they see a window of opportunity, but Ting hops out of it, and we're back on our feet. Intense attention from the 20,000 here at the Mall of Asia Arena. At times they've been deafeningly loud, at other times, like just at the moment, they just can't take their eyes off the action.
Nice little back elbow, back fist. Kind of start by
Missed with a straight right and then just came back at him on the way out again.
I love Follier's creativity.
Yeah. 9 minutes down.
You gotta wonder, does this constant forward pressure have any effect on the aggression of the fight? But the way that Follier counter punches and initiates attacks from the back foot is kind of negates the aggression of Ting consistently moving forward.
Just before they got into this clinch, Ting threw a nice right uppercut that did land. First one we've seen from him in this fight. That could be a dangerous weapon.
Ting's been landing a couple of these big punches. Not really looking to change levels. See how Follier has that overhook wrapped underneath the arm of Ting? That's helping control his posture so Ting can't drop down and go out to the legs.
2 rounds in the book. We'll get to Rich Franklin shortly for his assessment as to who's in front. And the man who wins it will be presented with the belt by that man, Manny Pacquiao. Will be in the cage at the end of the fight.
Let's look at some of the second round. Big strikes just barely missing by both fighters. Ting went high, slight slip, trying to transition into a single leg, but Follier ended up on the back, and both fighters scrambled back up to their feet. Big strikes, barely missing there by Follier. There's that clash of the heads you were speaking about. But this fight is just a bunch of narrow misses, Steve. Rich, what do you got?
Well, this fight's all about the stand-up game here, striking superiority. And that last highlight is a telltale story. You know, when Follier throws a combination, he'll come out and even do something awkward, like a back fist and score there. In these little dirty boxing exchanges, he's landing a bit more of the punches. Ev Ting's, the strikes that he's landing, they're like one-offs. A good right hand here, a body kick there. But most of the body kicks, Edward's still catching. I have Edward even inching a little bit further ahead, but still, this is a very close fight at this point.
Well, this point is the 10-minute mark. There are 15 minutes to go. Plenty of time for Ev Ting to overcome the slight lead that Rich Franklin says Follier has.
Again, more of the same that we saw in the second round. Ev Ting controlling the center of the cage, bullying, slipping back and forth, left and right, very subtly, but just enough so that Ev Ting can't get a read on his position.
Follier ducked under that huge left hand from Ev Ting, who at the moment fighting southpaw. That left hand is the big bomb from that stance.
But when you miss those big punches and those big kicks, it takes energy out of you. You lose a little bit of confidence and a little bit of just that will, because you're like, oh, everything was put into that punch and then just barely slides out of the way.
Oh, right hand from Edward, and that rocked Ev Ting, and now he has to clinch. Turns his man around and presses him up against the cage. Perhaps the first big punch of the fight, certainly the biggest. Somebody's cut, and it's Follier, I think.
You watch these two exchange, and everybody kind of just holds their breath, and a hush falls over because they're waiting for something gigantic to happen.
I can't quite confirm that it is Follier who's cut. There's some blood coming from somewhere.
Good knees to the body by the champion. Ooh. Again, a big miss from the kick.
I think that cut is above Edward's right eyebrow. He gets a kick in the face. Now, what effect will this have on the fight? We've already seen Edward dab the blood away. If it's above the eye, the blood will run into the eye, and that will compromise his vision. We're not even at the halfway mark in this fight, so that is a problem for him.
Nice change of levels there by Ting to go for the high crotch now. I like how Edward's trying to push the head up of Ev Ting, not allowing him to get fully under there to change the level to go to finish this takedown. And this is kind of the fight that all the pundits have been talking about, Steve. Everybody's just kind of been saying that they expected this to be a 5-round war of attrition, consistently battling back and forth. And both fighters are so close in so many categories that, I mean, we're seeing a lot of stalemates happen, especially when things get up against the cage.
Oh, flying attack from Ting.
He loves that flying knee, doesn't he, Steve?
You're talking about this one being a war of attrition, Mitch. Remember, Folayang is 6 years older, but cardio is not an issue for him. He's always in great shape, training up there in the altitude of Baguio City.
Not going! Keep going! Watch out!
Ting doing the pressing, pushing Folayang back to the cage. The Filipino breaks free, spinning back fist. And Ting sticks his tongue out to say, is that all you've got? Show me some more.
11 of Folayang's 22 fights have gone to a decision, so he is used to going the full 5 rounds. Ting never been past the 3rd round.
Inside the final 90 seconds of the 3rd round. So we're over the halfway mark.
A lot of cage battling up in here against in that clinch position. This is draining. A lot of fight fans don't necessarily understand the intricacies of the clinch game in here. These subtle little knees that they're throwing can deaden the legs. That's going to have an effect in the championship rounds.
So Yuji separates them and brings them back to the center of the cage so they can begin again.
1 minute left.
Looking to land that sort of lengthy left hook. Left, right from Folayang, follows up with a second left hand, and they scored nicely. Right hand from the champion.
I like how he throws that kick, misses the kick, but follows it up with that big looping right hand.
And I think both his feet were off the ground when that landed, Mitch.
That was
Superman-esque.
Ting keeps his hands really low, likes to punch from that upward position. Folayang's got a little bit higher guard.
He looks in good control, Ting. Perhaps slightly behind. We'll get Rich's opinion on that shortly, but he's very much in this, the Malaysian.
Used a spinning wheel kick to kind of pass by the guard, clinch up into the back. The 3rd round was more of the same that we've seen from the 2nd and the 1st round. There's Team Lakai celebrating, holding the gold in the air. Let's go back and take a look at some of the action in the 3rd round. There's a body kick thrown by Ting. And Ting loves to take to the air with that flying knee. This one actually landed, connecting with the body of Folayang, able to get into the clinch. There's that big punching combination, the 1-2 and the hook. Here's that flying punch. Are we going to see it? Oh, we just missed that in the feet air. Rich, what do you got?
Well, again, like you said, much of the same as in the first rounds, 1st and 2nd round. This is all about striking superiority. You know, I had Ev actually closing the distance in that fight. It was almost dead even, and then, of course, like with about a minute left, Folayang landed that combination and kind of rocked him a little bit. I have both these guys actually scored in the damage category. You can see the cut on Folayang's face. Ev has kind of been wobbled a little bit here and there. Nothing major, but just some honorable mentions in that category, we'll say. As of right now, I still have just Folayang edging this out, barely.
What you could see in the close-up between rounds there was, yes, there's the cut above Folayang's eye, but there's a swelling underneath it, and they put the iron air that lives in the ice bucket just to try and reduce that swelling in the limited time that they have between rounds. We're into the 4th. The championship rounds. Overhand right there from Folayang, lands high on the top of Ting's head, slamming leg to the thigh. Folayang looks the quicker of the two.
Yeah, Folayang has a little bit of damage under his eye, but I mean, you would, from the way that he's moving, you would think this is the 1st round. He's moving so precisely and fast. He's landing strikes, kind of inching away in that striking superiority that Rich Franklin was talking about earlier.
And you seem to notice in all fights, once Edward gets going and gets this movement where he moves his hands up and down, and he moves left and to the right, and then he spins, and it's perpetual motion for him. He gets in a groove and just keeps coming at you. And that's when Epting should concentrate very hard.
But he's not a stationary target, Steve. He never stands in one place. That those little subtle moves, that hand gyration as he's popping up and down, he's not a stationary target. It's very hard to pinpoint exactly where he's going to be. And he's throwing strikes constantly from that movement.
Epting is in a little bit of trouble in the back there, but that's a very nice takedown.
I like the scissor takedown from Epting to get into a possible heel hook there. He's got to extend his legs out.
Very hard on it. He's let go with his left hand.
The only successful takedown of the fight is a very unorthodox move.
It was very skillful indeed. But Ting now is up against it. Pressed it first against the mat, and now the cage wall. Folayang is strong. Remember, Ting came up from featherweight. May not be as naturally strong as Folayang, who's practiced at lightweight seemingly all his career, and fits that weight very, very well with that muscular body of his. The unforgiving Yuji Shimada calls for more action at the 2.5-minute mark of the 4th round.
But both these guys are throwing, they're being active inside the clinch, but Yuji Shimada wants more. I think he's enjoying the stand-up game just as much as every other person in this packed arena.
118 countries around the world, potentially over 1 billion viewers, 20,000 of them packed into the Mall of Asia Arena, enjoying this one. The most important fight in either of these two fighters' career.
Epting's lost about a half step, but he's consistently keeps his game plan in place by moving forward. But just the volume of strikes thrown by Folayang.
That looked like a dangerous move for Epting for a moment there, but Folayang moved just at the last moment and turned it into an advantageous move for himself.
Looks to be a bit of a swelling underneath the right eye of Epting. Probably caused by the fast hands of Folayang early in that third, or later in that 3rd round.
Epting drops his hands and
he's standing in the middle of the cage waiting for Folayang to come to him.
He wants him to come forward, doesn't he?
But that's not Edward's style. He should know that. Folayang is not going to be tricked or manipulated into breaking his game plan. He's too strong of a mental warrior for that.
Final 50 seconds of the 4th round. This is where the story gets written in earnest. If this one goes the distance, as a lot of people think it will, this is where the points start to get racked up as fatigue sets in. Who can take advantage?
Good. Ting's really applying pressure with his head and his shoulder to just smush Edward Folayang up against the cage there. He's trying to change levels. He's trying to drop down. But that overhook with Folayang's left arm is preventing Ting from really dropping down and attacking the legs. And he keeps pushing the head back up.
Edward left and right as he comes off the cage wall. Now fighting open mouth. The spinning kick to the torso pushes Epting back. And that's the 4th round in the books. 20 minutes down, 5 to go, and this crowd are loving it. There's Jorge Eustaquio, there's Manny Pacquiao. And he's watching all of the action very closely. This is what he saw in the 4th.
Look at that beautiful scissor takedown to get Folayang to the mat, which set up a nice little transition into a possible heel hook. But Folayang kept it nice and tight, grabbing the head, not allowing Ting to extend out to lock that in fully. Rich, Break it down.
Well, I'll tell you what, I pulled up my takedowns in this particular round because it shows how comfortable Ev Ting is in this fight to be able to drop for a scissor takedown like that and look for a heel hook this late in fight. They're sweaty. That's a gutsy move. But I got to say, though, Edward was still able to consistently land the leg kicks and throw a few jabs in there. And even though Ev is controlling the cage and pushing Edward against the cage, I still think he's doing more damage in the clinch. So even though Ting is winning that category of the takedown, my overall score still has Falayan barely ahead. And this is anybody's fight still.
What does Ting have to do in this round to take the belt?
He's going to have to do some damage, you know, some significant damage, because even something like that heel hook, it wasn't in tight enough for me to actually score that to a near submission. So he's going to have to really do some damage in this round.
And this is the final round. Ev Ting, the challenger. Edward Falayan, the champion. Falayan slightly ahead on Rich Franklin's scorecard. How will the judges see it? What will happen in the next 4.5 minutes or so?
Yeah, Ev Ting's going to have to put the heat on Falayan if he's going to want to walk away out of this arena with that belt. He's trying to change it up, trying to go after that takedown still because he's just not winning the stand-up the way that I'm sure he wanted to.
He's probably going to need to dominate this final 5 minutes in fairly significant fashion to persuade the judges that he's worthy of having his hand raised.
You know, see, that's the beauty of this judging, the scoring system that we have. The fight is judged on its entirety. So you could, you know, in theory, lose each one of the rounds or the fight so far, but have a tremendous upstart back in the 5th round and take the win home. But also, Ting possesses that unique ability to knock out his opponents, which is a definite test and an attribute that very few have.
Well, the crowd here will have been looking forward to this for a number of weeks. They all bought their tickets and sold out fairly quickly. Couldn't get a ticket for love nor money today, that's for sure. Left, right from Falayan. Ting comes back with an exchange of his own. Not as accurate as the Filipinos' punches, though. Sends in a couple of short left hooks in the clinch there, Ev Ting.
Steve. That's what he's got to do more of. When he gets in these clinch, use those short, dirty punches to get in close and also to score some points.
We're approaching the final 3 minutes. Falayan's cardio, famously well capable of seeing out what's left.
Oh! Ting goes head hunting. Falayan throws him down to the mat. Doesn't want to go to the ground with Ting.
No
allows him to pop back up.
Yeah. He's had the edge in the stand-up. No reason to get down there and risk anything. Sends in that kick and it raises the leg of Ev Ting's trunk and reveals a very red thigh that's been battered by that right kick.
I felt that leg kick. That one stung.
Ting maintains the center of the cage, continues to be wide-eyed and at times wide-mouthed. Right hand from Edward.
Edward's even slowed down a little bit. You know, you can't leave this in the hands of the judges. Who knows what these 3 gentlemen on cage side are thinking? You never want to leave it to the hands of the judges when something as important as a world title is on the line.
Stabbing left leg into the thigh of Ev Ting, who switches stance back and forwards, and Falayan comes at it again. Just stabs with the sole of that foot heavily onto the thigh. Minute and 3/4 left. The man who beat Shinya Aoki, who took his belt with a spinning back fist, and that one landed flush. Ev Ting says, come on, come at me. If you're a fighter, let's see it happen. That was not well greeted by the fans here at the Mall of Asia Arena.
Ting wants him to stand in the middle and trade. But Falayan, he's not being manipulated into this game. He stays with his game plan, continues to circle out.
It's very unlikely that that game of taunting will work for Ev Ting. Falayan knows that he's got just over a minute to continue doing what he's doing to the sound of uproarious chants from the fans. Falayan, Falayan. Inside the final minute now, and the crowd are on their feet, applauding the effort of these 2 warriors. Folayang continues to circle the cage. Ting gets bustled against the cage and receives 2 right hands to the face in the process. Ting spins him round. He's got to do something very special now in the final half minute if he's going to take this fight.
I think Ting's going to be setting up something huge here. He's got to try something. He's got to win by knockout in the last 20 seconds.
Folayang, center of the cage, sends that foot into the torso. Flying knee from Ting, the crowd on their feet again. Left hand from the Malaysian, misses with the uppercut. Final seconds of this World Championship contest. Folayang will get a huge roar from the fans as this bell goes. The decision awaits, but Folayang already has his hands in the air, as do the Filipino fans. It's clear to them who they think has won. And as I look up at Ting with his hands on his head, you get the suspicion that he may be thinking exactly the same thing. Mitch Chilson.
There was a huge head kick landed by Ting, but Folayang took it, caught it, threw Ting to the ground with it. There's those stomping leg kicks to the thigh of Ting, thrown by Folayang, and landing a spinning back fist. The striking superiority clearly on display in the 5th and final round. Again with the spinning back fist. Caught the flying knee and answers with his signature spinning moves. Rich, what do you got?
I have these guys dead even in aggression. You know, Folayang won the takedown category, but the striking superiority, he clearly took that category barely, but you can see even with that last replay, the spinning elbow that landed there, that's the story of what's going on. These guys basically had the same amount of superficial damage. I would give this decision to Edward Folayang.
You heard Rich Franklin. It's Folayang's decision, but Dom has the official word.
To present the belt for this fight, we have Tina Xie, Senior Marketing Manager for GoDaddy Asia, Mr. Victor Cui, CEO of One Championship, and Mr. Manny Pacquiao, World Champion and One Championship shareholder. And now, ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds of intense battle, we turn to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges have scored this fight in favor of your winner, and still one lightweight champion of the world, Edward Folayang.
The crowd at the Mall of Asia Arena, befitting of a world champion. Manny Pacquiao to his right, CEO of One Championship, Victor Cui to his left, and the belt over his shoulder once again. As the confetti rains down from the skies, the Filipino fans have got exactly what they wanted.